Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot tonight. Guys, we got so much draft news to talk about. I just released my top 5 rankings for the offensive tackles in this year's draft, so if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check that out. I apologize for my late start. Apparently when you premiere a video on YouTube, it does not let you go live at the same time. So, had to wait a little bit. I apologize. No jet shirt tonight. Trying to do a quick wardrobe change for you guys. Thank you so much, Vinny, Joseph, Steven, Joe S, AM, Alex, DJ Sin, Joe Schmo. You guys are awesome. Thomas George, thank you for tuning in. We'll get to all your questions. We're going to run this the same way we do every Monday night. We are going to do calling questions starting at 8:30. And then we're going to take it to the phones so I can hear all your rankings on your prospects and who you want the NFL draft and how you want that to go. Who do you want the Jets to take? Who do you want the Jets to trade? Jamal Adams could be a hot topic if you want to talk that. Guys, hit the like button. Come on. Get this video up there. Let's have all those people that tune into this later on actually see a bunch of likes. All right, guys. Let's start talking a little bit of football. So, since you guys probably have watched my video, if you haven't watched it, I'll let you guys watch the offensive line video. Anyway, but I ranked my top 5 offensive linemen for this draft. I have Wills as my number 1. I have Wirfs as number 2. I have Becton as 3. Thomas as 4, with Josh Jones rounding out the top 5. Obviously, I have different feelings depending on what's available there, who winds up falling to us, the options available for the Jets. But I'll let you guys watch that video, and you guys can ask me questions about it through the chat and through the call-in section. We do have a question of the day, so if you guys have not, head down to the link in the description down below. There's a link to the Jets Discord. Head down to the poll section. The question of the day: in 2001, which Jets linebacker delivered the hit on Drew Bledsoe that would rock the Patriots foundation as a franchise for many seasons to come? Check out the Jets Discord. Answer that in the poll section down there, and if you get it right, you'll be entered to win a raffle for a hat, shirt, mug, something like that, from the Jets Talk store. So make sure you head over that way. There's so much to talk about. Do the Jets go with a top 4 offensive lineman, or do they go with the best wide receiver? There's the possibility that the Jets will have their pick of the litter from the wide receivers, and if you have the top, let's ask an honest question, and you guys can respond in the chat based on how you feel with this. But if you have the best offensive lineman and you have the best wide receiver available, which one are you taking? It's probably going to wind up being the left tackle. That's just my opinion. But since the Jets are sitting at 11, we're not going to have that luxury. So there's going to be the question of, do the Jets pick the best wide receiver, or do they take the 3rd or 4th best offensive lineman? It's going to be a very, very interesting situation for the New York Jets. And guys, if you did not see the video that I just posted for the offensive line, make sure you tune in. I think I left the link in the description for this. Maybe not. We're going to be doing a live stream for the draft. For the draft party, it's going to be me, Gangrene David, Matt O'Leary, and Greenbean for the NFL draft. I did reach out to Jets Central. As of right now, I believe he has not responded to me. I'll give it a little check. That way you guys can know if I hear it first. Nope, it does not look like he's responded. So if you guys want to see him on there, make sure you message him. But the idea is we're going to have this starting at 7 o'clock on draft night. The draft starts at 8 o'clock, so we can start talking about all the potential theories of what we think is going to happen. We'll probably know who the first pick is going to be the day before the draft. That's generally what happens. They sign their contract, or they, put the pick in, and it's like, oh, the number 2 team is on the clock. But regardless, we'll be able to talk about some rumors. Maybe we hear some draft trades or some new information in the last few days. That's when you start seeing a little bit more of the rumor BS start to kind of sift from side to side. We'll see. The Jets have been linked to Jerry Jeudy, not to Jerry Jeudy. They've been linked to Henry Ruggs, and they've been linked to CeeDee Lamb as the 2 wide receivers since the Combine. And is that a smokescreen? Do they really want Jerry Jeudy? Do they want a wide receiver in the top round? Now, if you look at, let me see if I could find this real quick. I made a post over on Jet Nation forums, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this real quick. But it's on the offensive line and how the Jets, or not how the Jets, how the Eagles have built their offensive line over the course of the last few seasons. All right, yeah, here it is. Okay, so obviously they have Lane Johnson, who was like the 4th overall pick whenever he was drafted, and Dillard was like the 22nd or 26th overall pick last year. So those two first round picks, obviously, big time tackles, whatever. But then you look at Jason Peters. Jason Peters was undrafted. Vaitai, not even going to pronounce the first name, 5th round pick. Brandon Brooks, 3rd round pick. Jason Kelsey, 6th round pick. Isaac Simalo, so I'm going to pronounce that wrong, sorry. 3rd round pick. So it's not like the Eagles have spent a lot of high first round picks on offensive linemen. So it would not potentially shock me if Joe Douglas winds up thinking this sort of mindset. Like maybe he believes he can get a tackle later in the draft and he wants to take that top receiver on the board. So there's a lot kind of going through my head and what could potentially happen. Me as an outsider, I think left tackle should be the pick because the bust rate on wide receivers is roughly the same in the first round as it is in the second round. So if you can equal out that bust rate and move it over to the second round, I would prefer that. As much as I love CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy, I just think left tackle is probably the way to go. RJ McPot, 720, thank you so much for the $2 donation. Top 4 tackles are gone, and top 2 wide receivers are gone. Who do I got? Ooh, wow. Man, if that happens, there's got to be a trade-down situation. Because you're talking, that's 6 players right there. And then I'm assuming that Burrow, Chase Young, and Tua go. So now you just need 2 other players to kind of fit somewhere in there. Derek Brown, Isaiah Simmons, they have got to go in the top 10, I would think. I mean, that would be a hell of a situation. I would trade down as hard as I could, I think. Or you take a cornerback. I don't really want to take a cornerback in the first round, but if you said the top 4 tackles are gone and the top 2 receivers are gone, I mean, you could take Ruggs. You'd probably take a wide receiver. I really have a hard time trying to take a defensive player in the first round this year. We've put so many assets into this defense, and we were a top 10 unit last year. Let's give the help to the offensive side of the ball. That's kind of what I think. I don't want to say I'm 110% stuck on the idea of going offense, but I'm pretty close to that. What do you guys think? Who would you take? Who is the pick at number 11 if those players are gone? Now I think that's pretty far-fetched because there's no way. If the 3 quarterbacks go, and then you're going to have a trade down opportunity because one of those big players are going to wind up being there. But man, I would be lying if I said I wasn't super excited for CeeDee Lamb. Like I sort of really really hope that's the pick. As much as it needs to be tackle. It needs to be tackle. That's my heart of heart. It's tackle. But man, I love me some CeeDee Lamb. DJ Sin 6, thank you for the $1.99 donation. Unless quarterbacks change, who are people trading up for? So the spots that I think people would trade up for are going to be before the Jets. And it could be maybe offensive line or wide receiver if they want to leapfrog the Raiders or the 49ers or the Broncos. Maybe that could be what happens. But Isaiah Simmons, I think, is a popular name. If he starts to fall, teams could want to trade up to that pick. Now, I don't think he's even there for 11. Like I think he goes top 5. So I don't foresee this actually being a situation that happens. I think if someone's going to trade up with the Jets, it's going to be for either one of those offensive tackles that's falling, which would be surprising because the Jets should probably take one, or it'll be for a top wide receiver because they want to leapfrog the Raiders, the 49ers, and the Broncos. Just my thoughts on that. Thank you so much. Guys, if you've not headed over to the Jets Discord down below in the description, there's a link to the Jets Discord. There is a question of the day. In 2001, which Jets linebacker delivered the hit that knocked out Drew Bledsoe and rocked the Patriots Foundation as a franchise for many seasons to come? Head over to the Jets Discord, answer that question. If you get the question right, you'll get yourself entered to win a hat, a shirt, a mug, or something like that from the Jets Talk store. I also have the face masks if you guys want one of those. So anything roughly on the shop you could pretty much get. Don't answer it in the chat. Doesn't work in the chat. You gotta answer it on the gotta answer it in the Discord. That's the only way you get entered to win. We are simulcasting over to Facebook. I should probably check and make sure that's actually running. This is the 3rd week of me doing that. If you guys have not tuned in to the live stream, or if you guys have not liked the Facebook page for Just Talk 24/7, I would love for you guys to do that. That would be absolutely fantastic. It definitely helps the channel grow, and there's other platforms that people want to potentially watch this on, not just YouTube. More people are on Facebook, probably consistently throughout their time, so you can hit the reminder on there if you want to. You wind up getting the same content that you get over on the YouTube channel if you're not always plugged in here. But yeah, not too shabby. We've got 3 minutes before I open up the phone lines, so if I see any questions in the chat, I'll just run through this. Hey, Matt, TJ Decker, Bobby Woodruff, what's up? Trey25, Anthony Mazza, Multivals, Daniel Roberts, New York Sports MC, what's up? What is up? TJ Decker, Kawhi Mofo, Big Matt, who's your favorite porn star? That's an interesting chat conversation. Probably not something I'm going to put on my live stream right now because I would like this to not be demonetized if possible. All right, I think we're close enough to the 8:30 time where we can justify opening up the phone lines. Let me just pop over to the Google Voice just so I can start to get those calls. All right, phone numbers on the screen. If you guys want to call in, hit me. Ask me a question. Ooh, okay, so I'm going to click out of that real quick because we just got a question from Joe S. Thank you for the $1.99 donation. Which wide receiver fits Gase's so-called system? So I should start this off with saying I'm not entirely sure what he wants. I've seen that he likes the sort of shiftier type of receivers, kind of like a Jamison Crowder. So it wouldn't shock me if Ruggs was like the shifty kind of guy that they wanted to get. But then, no, let me see if I can get this name right. I had a bunch of people mad at me because I screwed it up the last time. Ayuk, whatever. I'm gonna screw that up. The receiver, real fast guy. I want to see 6 foot or 6'1", but super fast. He could probably be had in the second round. I don't think he's gonna sneak into the first round this year, but I could see him fitting into Gase's system. Now, for me, when I look at the wide receiver position, I'm trying to look at stuff that we don't have. And when I think of Perriman and I look at Ruggs, I'm like, okay, we have Ayuk. Ayuk. Okay, that's how I pronounce it. When I look at what we already have, we have Perriman. So Ruggs is a burner. I get we have the speed burst pipes whole thing going on. So do the Jets try to add another pipe burster in Henry Ruggs? I think that could be an option, but I see Perriman and Ruggs sort of as the speed demon over the top. You have Jamison Crowder as the shifty guy cutting across the interior of that defense along with Herndon. So I don't necessarily think Jerry Jeudy maybe is the perfect situation. I think he's a great route runner, but when you have a quarterback kind of like Sam, who sort of like, in my mind, comes off like a Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, that said, Jerry Jeudy has compared route running wise to Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown succeeded with Big Ben. So I have to, hold my tongue a little bit on that. But I think CeeDee Lamb is sort of the guy that I've locked in on at wide receiver at 11 if I'm really, gunning for a wide receiver at that point in time. But good question. Good question. All right, now the phone lines are open. We do tend to get a lot of calls, so if you get a call and you go to the voicemail, you don't have to leave a voicemail. Just keep trying to call back in. But the phone lines are now open, and as always, any super chats are going to get priority over any phone call, but I look forward to talking to you jamokes on the phone lines. First call of the night. Who we got?
Call from
Daniel Zola.
Daniel, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, Matt. Sorry about that. I got to turn down my
That's all right.
my volume. It's confusing me.
Well, what's on your mind?
Okay. Now, when it comes to the four tackles, you've got the combine warriors and you got the guys who just do it on the field.
Correct.
Now, to me, Thomas and Wills, totally, I can see Pro Bowl when I just watched them. Now, Becton is huge, but I don't see the skill. And same with Wirfs. So what do you put your faith in?
So when I think sort of what I look at, and it's sort of similar to what you're getting at, and I would say Wills and Thomas seem like the two safest left tackles for me. I would put Wills 1. He did play the right side in with Alabama, but Tua is a left-handed quarterback, so he's still guarding the blind side there. I would say Wirfs is going to wind up being my second, and that's mainly because of the Brett Coleman video. If you guys don't know, Brett Coleman breaks down a bunch of NFL footage, and he compared Wills and Wirfs next to each other, and Wills wound up winning it, but he thinks Wirfs is probably the second best lineman in the draft. And I'll be honest, I have thought that Andrew Thomas was the best since the beginning of the college football season, so that's sort of who I like. Mekhi Becton just has massive size and has the elite measurables to be able to be a very good tackle in this NFL. So if I had to rank it, I'd say Wills 1. I don't necessarily believe Wirfs is 2, but I think he's going to be the second best on a lot of people's big boards. I have Becton at 3, Thomas at 4, and then Josh Jones at 5. I'd be happy with anyone outside of Wirfs. I don't know if I necessarily believe in Wirfs. Like you said, I think the Combine probably blew up his stats a little bit more than they should have. Becton, I think he's just massive. I don't know if he's so much a Combine warrior because I saw him kind of raising up the ranks throughout the length of the college football season. So I'm not too sure. Where would you rank those guys on your top 4?
Wills, by far.
Yep.
Then I go Andrew Thomas. He did it on the field.
Yep.
His footwork, moving sideways, is iffy, and his backing up is iffy.
Yep.
But the guy never gives up. He chases.
You're talking about Thomas?
I like that. Thomas.
Yep.
Becton, I just like because he puts people on the ground.
He's huge. He moves them around like they're toys.
When he gets his hands on somebody, they're ending up on the field. And possibly sooner or later, somebody's not going to get up from him.
Yeah.
Wirfs is just... I think he's a guard.
Okay, that's fair. The way he kicks back is not very fast. From the Coleman footage, you saw he takes these 2 short hops and then he starts taking a bigger hop and he winds up perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, which leaves him open to a lot of kind of like a stiff arm from the defensive end, and he can really be susceptible to the counter move. So I agree. I think a guard position could make more sense, or maybe just right tackle in general as opposed to being the primary left tackle. I don't think he should come in for the Jets because we need a left tackle. I don't know if that's necessarily his cup of tea.
And I think Jones is going to be, a solid tackle for his career. I don't think he's going to be an all-star, but I think Jones, he's got everything that tackle needs. He's just not at their level.
Yeah, I think Jones, for me, when I was doing my whole comparison, he falls somewhere in the 15 to 20 range for me. So if the Jets were to trade back and take Jones, I would be all about it. I'm fine with adding a second-round pick or whatever we'd get from moving back. But I would not take him at 11. I think I would have a hard time pulling the trigger on him. I would prefer wide receiver at 11 instead of taking Josh Jones.
I agree. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you so much for calling in. Guys, number is on the screen if you would like to call in. Make sure you tune in down below to the Jets Discord. There's a question of the day. Which Jets linebacker knocked out Drew Bledsoe in 2001 to lead the way for Tom Brady? Who was that linebacker? Head over there to get yourself entered to win a shirt, hat, mug, or whatever from the Jets Talk store.
Call from
Nelson Torres.
Nelson, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not too much. I'm hanging in there.
So, I was speculating on the whole Jamal Adams drama / trade rumors with the Cowboys and whatnot.
Okay.
And, we do need help at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Amari Cooper is a dream scenario, but I know Joe Douglas won't pay that much money for a receiver.
So the issue...
I was thinking maybe you throw in Michael Gallup and a first-round pick and maybe a third or a fourth.
That would be hard for me to do, I think. You're referring to Amari Cooper. I think TPS released a video earlier this week talking about Jamal Adams and how the perfect trade scenario could work out with Amari Cooper and Jamal Adams. Just so people know, it wouldn't make any sense because the Cowboys would have to eat $30 million in dead cap to get Amari Cooper. So that's totally off the board. We can kind of take that out of the picture. As far as one of their other wide receivers, I would say no. I would take the first round pick. I'd want one of their offensive linemen. If they don't want to give up the offensive lineman, I would do the first round pick, and then I'd try to go for the 2 seconds. If you get a first, a second this year, or a first, a third this year, and a second next year, I'd probably be okay with that. But I would not take the receiver from Dallas.
Okay, and so you wouldn't take Michael Gallup whatsoever. Even if there's an offensive tackle there at 11 and possibly another one there at 17.
So you're saying if the Jets go tackle 11, this trade happens just after the 11th pick, where we'd wind up getting 17. We'd see who's on the clock. Here's an interesting situation. What happens if the Jets take the left tackle and then the right tackle right back, 11 and 17, and then you wind up just taking a wide receiver in the the second round like you would have anyway? I don't know. I'd probably. I don't know. I want the picks from Dallas more than I want their wide receivers because I think I'd rather double dip at wide receiver in this draft. Personally, I think there's enough starting.
Yeah.
I think there's enough starting talent in the first 4 rounds that the Jets could get to. If one of the two pan out to be a starter, that's perfect. But you could get at least some competition at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, that's the only thing I really want to do if they do go wide receiver is kind of put the competition there just to make sure that we do have the right guy.
Yeah, I think if it were up to me, I'd go left tackle at 11. I'd go receiver at 48. I'd go possibly receiver or edge. Receiver, edge, or cornerback, I would say, with our first third-round pick. I would take, receiver, corner, or edge with our second, third-round pick, whichever one we don't go with the first. And then fourth and fifth would be whatever position we don't attack from those 3 positions and a running back. Because I think this is going to be Bell's last year with us. I think he's going to wind up getting cut after this season because his cap hit's just so big.
Definitely. I actually like happening too.
Yeah.
Too bad I bought a Bell jersey too.
Oh, hey, I bought a Jamal Adams jersey, so if he winds up getting traded, I'm going to be pretty frosted.
Yeah, I know. But, appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for calling in. I'll talk to you later. Are you tuning into the live stream for the draft night?
Of course.
Ah, I like it. Good stuff.
I'm there, man.
Good stuff. I'll talk to you later, brother. Good call. Good stuff. Phone numbers on the board, guys. If you've not, head over to the Jets Discord. There is a link in the description down below. Head to the poll section and answer the question, which linebacker knocked out Drew Bledsoe in 2001 to lead the way for Tom Brady? Answer it over there. Get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the Jets Talk store. Bobby, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm hanging in there. What's on your mind?
I gotta tell you, I went to your Discord. That question's not up there.
It should be. It's in the poll section of the Discord.
Oh, okay. Maybe I got the wrong section because
Yeah,
the last question was oldie. But I do like the Jets pick up that Bryman pickup, the receiver.
Say that again. I missed it.
You like the receiver they got from Tampa Bay?
Oh, Brashad Perriman? Yes, I do like him. I think.
Yes.
I think he's a cheaper version of what Robbie was. Now, I think Robbie has a higher, or has a higher floor because he's proven it in our system. But I think Perriman, if he's given the opportunity and he can stay healthy, can be the better of the 2 receivers. So I think we could potentially get a better player for a cheaper contract.
He had a good year last year, definitely.
Oh yeah, well I would say the last year and a half from when he was with Cleveland a year and a half ago.
Oh right, Cleveland too. Yeah.
Yeah, halfway through the season he was playing well. He didn't have a training camp with them, so he's just kind of learning on the fly. But then he goes into Tampa, plays. He doesn't start most of the way until like the tail end of the last year's season. But then he gets his opportunity to start the last like 5-6 games and just goes off. So like, let's give the guy a shot. It's only $6 million, $6 to $8 million. If he flops, it's like 6. If he's really well, it's 8.
And then if he does good, they go sign him again for a contract.
Yeah, they could sign him to a longer term deal, or they wind up letting him walk if like, they like the receivers that they draft. Let's say they take 2 receivers in the draft, they like them better than Perriman, then you could potentially get a comp pick from him. So these 1-year contracts are pretty cool.
Receiver you want in the draft?
Receivers I want in the draft, I've been very vocal on CeeDee Lamb. He's kind of my heartthrob for this draft.
Bad Dog does too.
I think he's really good. I really do. I think he's the best receiver in this draft. I would say if we didn't go tackle at 11, CeeDee Lamb's the pick for me. In the second round, it depends. There's kind of a big chunk of receivers that a lot of people aren't sure who's going to be where. Like if Mims or Jefferson or maybe I don't really like Higgins. I would say Mims, Jefferson are the 2 guys that I really like. Ayuk and maybe like Claypool are both really good. I like Pittman. I would love Pittman in the third.
I like him.
I would love.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I would love Pittman in the second or in the third round. I don't know if he's going to make it that far, so I would be okay with taking him in the second if you really believe in him, because he at least trained with Sam Darnold and played with Sam Darnold at USC. So even though
definitely, I heard of him.
And even though if you don't have like the Robbie Anderson or offensive weapon connection that Sam had last year, at least if you bring in someone that he kind of knows and you think is deserving of that pick anyway, there's sort of a cohesiveness there. So I would be okay with that. And then my late round or like 4th and beyond, or maybe late 3rd and beyond pick is Antonio Gandy-Golden. I think he could definitely bust and be a terrible wide receiver, but I also think he could be a really good find later than some of these other guys.
Oh, okay. What's the other one that's going? Everybody likes in the first round too.
So there's Jerry Judy, CeeDee Lamb, and Henry Ruggs.
Oh, Ruggs too. Yeah, Ruggs I heard of.
Yeah,
and I like the people you picked up for your offensive line too.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of the offensive line right now. I think we still need.
The Jets are going to have a good year.
I hope so. We need the left tackle though. I don't trust Fant to be our left tackle right now. I'm cool with him being
he injured, pro?
No, he did well at the end of last season, and he showed he can do well against the Bosa brothers in pass protection. But I would like to see him be the competition or potentially right tackle for the New York Jets, and then us take the left tackle at number 11. That would be my preference. If we don't take the tackle at 11, I would rather us sign Jason Peters for a year, or potentially trade a 3rd-round pick for Trent Williams pending his contract. I don't like Trent Williams really as the player, and I don't want to give up a pick for him, but I understand the upside potential, and if you can get him on an incentive-based deal, I think that could be a home run. It's a high-risk, high-reward type signing because you could pay him a lot of money, and he may not play very well.
Look who came into your chat, too. Do you see who just came into your chat?
I see Gangrene David in there. He's jumping around.
He's a good Jeff fan. He's a good guy. I like him.
Oh, of course. Are you going to be tuning into our live stream?
To that game against the Jets and the Giants last year, do you?
No, I didn't go to the Jet Giant one. They
all did. They had a great time.
I saw that they were at the. It was him and all the Giant YouTubers, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be on. Are you going to tune into our Jets live stream for the draft party?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that going on. Yeah. It's going to be me, David, Green Bean, and Matt O'Leary. Put out a call for Jet Central. I don't know if he's actually going to respond back to me or want to join in with us, but the offer's on the table for him if he'd like to join us.
Is that the green guy with the grayish beard?
Green Bean. So Green Bean Green Bean will be there with the beard, but Jet Central is the preeminent Jets YouTuber on the platform. And we're asking him if he'd like to be a part of it. And he might have something else planned. I don't know. But I reached out to him, so hopefully we can get him on the panel.
It's a nice house.
Thank you. It's a nice little apartment. 4th floor.
You live on Long Island, I think, right?
Nope. I'm on the Jersey side of things.
Oh, you're a Jersey side. Oh, hopefully not near Philadelphia.
No, definitely not. All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate the call, and you have been ejected from the cockpit. Guys, phone number's on the board if you guys want to call in. I do have a poll question of the day. Down in the description below, there's a link to the Jets Discord. Head down to the poll section of the Jets Discord. You'll find the poll question: which Jets linebacker delivered the hit on Drew Bledsoe that would rock the Patriots foundation as a franchise for many seasons to come back in 2001? Answer that. Which Jets linebacker knocked out Drew Bledsoe in the Discord to get a shot to win one of these cool items from the Jets Talk store. Guys, if you are calling in and you can't get through, it's because we got a lot of calls coming in at the same time. So please keep trying to call back. You don't have to leave a voicemail or anything like that. I'm not going to wind up checking them at this point. But keep calling in, and we will get to all your questions. And don't forget, we are going to be doing a live stream for the Jets draft party since there is no MetLife draft party this year because it's all about social distancing and no large gatherings. We are going to say forget the social distancing, sort of, and we're going to get hundreds of people in this live stream to talk about the draft. So it'll be social distancing, but will be way more fun than maybe just watching the ESPN guys do it online. But if you want to catch some live reactions to what we think the Jets are doing just before the pick, right at the pick, and after the pick, and who we could potentially be looking at in the second round, we'll be doing calling questions, everything like that.
Call from
Peter.
Peter, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit. I'm going to get to your question in just a second. I just had a $1.99 donation from a really cool person who is absolutely awesome. Charlie Gardner, thank you for the $1.99 donation. Why did the football coach go to the bank? I don't know. Why did the football coach go to the bank? Now I got to see this question play out because I don't know the answer to it. Why did the football coach go to the bank? Come on, Charlie. Answer it in the chat before I move on. Let's see. I have the phone. I have the phone line open. Peter, I'll get to your question. Oh, to get his quarterback. I got it. Okay. That was great. Charlie, it's a bad joke. You're fired. No, sorry, Peter. What's up, dude?
How you doing, brother?
Hanging in there. Another day, another dollar. What's on your mind?
I just finished watching your new video that you put up like maybe 45 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what'd you think about the offensive lineman?
It's a really tough class, but at the same time, if I had to put like the scales to 1 through 5, Wills is definitely going to go number 1. I see it already. That's not even a question.
Yep.
As for number 2, it's between Becton and Wirfs.
Yeah.
And I really want Becton on our team so bad because not just for his size, it's just like he's athletic as hell. And how often do you see somebody that big who is 6'7" and moves like that?
Yeah, look, I think that's definitely where the Jets' head is at too. If you get a 6'7" tackle moving that kind of fast, you could be unstoppable. Charlie, thank you so much for the $4.99 donation to get a quarterback. That's a great joke. Why did the coach go to the bank to get a quarterback?
I'm not gonna lie, it's actually funny.
I enjoyed it. I like dad jokes. That's a pretty good dad joke. But so let's say Wills, Wirfs, Becton are gone. Are you okay taking Thomas, or do you think maybe Thomas isn't that high of a caliber that people may necessarily think?
I mean, that's kind of hard to say, but if it comes down to picking Thomas, I probably would pass on him and just go with a receiver.
Oh man, I like CeeDee Lamb, so I really want CeeDee Lamb to be the pick, but I think we have to go lineman. And my prediction with my mock draft that I posted, and it's not necessarily because I had Wills falling below the Jets, but that's just because I didn't know the top 4 tackles and who I wanted to rank where at that point. But I had the idea that Joe Douglas could like 3 of the 4 offensive linemen that are available for this draft, and maybe that fourth one falls to us and he doesn't want to take him, even though everyone thinks that that's like the best pick for the Jets. He might opt for the wide receiver.
That's true, but like I said before, and we actually talked about this, I would say like 2 weeks ago. If we do pick a receiver, like I definitely wouldn't mind bringing in Jason Peters for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think the Jets will go. I think if the Jets do opt with wide receiver in the first round, I think they're probably, maybe they have a tackle in mind in the second round, and they might wait until after the second round just to see who's there. but I think their contingency plans are going to be Jason Peters, Trent Williams, and Kelvin Beachum. I think those are the three guys that you could see the Jets potentially bring in, depending on contract and compensation that would have to be given up.
Well, I would definitely bring in Jason Peters just for the fact that Joe Douglas knows him very well, and he was the 10th tackle in the league last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he might have been 8th. I think he was top 10. I'm pretty sure he was like 6th or 8th.
Even at 38 years old, he could still play.
Well, that's just it. Even if you just get him for a year, like that's all you need. If you can take a developmental left tackle in the 2nd or 3rd round that you like, and then you wind up taking, Jason Peters on for a year, at least you get some, good left tackle play. And the guy is an absolute captain in the locker room. The Eagles loved him in there. Everyone loves Jason Peters. So if the Jets could bring in that kind of personality in an offensive line room that may be pretty young with Edoga, I guess Van Roten and I don't know how old Lewis is off the top of my head, but I think Van Roten is like 30 years old. So
Lewis is like around 27, 20 years old.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to get a veteran in the locker room as far as left tackle goes. But left tackle for me at 11 would be the first move, I think.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And the other thing I've been hearing, too, like I said before, the Falcons still want to trade with us, and there's like some reports between the Raiders and the 49ers they want to get on the phone with us. I don't know what's the deal.
Yeah, I've heard those rumors. I've heard that everyone's trying to move up to get the wide receiver they want, to get in front of Oakland, or to possibly even get in front of us. And honestly, if any of the teams in front of us move back, like if the Browns slid back a little bit, we get a tackle then. If someone jumps in front of us and takes a receiver, that's another player that's dropping down the board, and hopefully it's with a team that wants an offensive lineman or, may not necessarily care. I don't know. I don't know how far back I want the Jets to trade. It depends who's probably on the board at 11.
If we have to trade back, I think the farthest I would go would be 7, 8, or 9.
Trade back. I mean, like, so if you're falling from 11, you're going to like 15 or 16 or something like that. Like that's, I mean, if the Jets could move up and get the tackle they want, and I'll actually hit on this because I think it was DJ Sin. DJ Sin 6, thank you for the $1.99 donation. He says trade up a third wouldn't get done. Trade up a third wouldn't get done. O-line or bust. So I think what he's saying is you trade up to get the tackle you want. So if you can package 11 with a 3rd round pick to jump up to, say, Jacksonville, to leapfrog the Browns to get the tackle you want.
Not really looking for a tackle. That's the thing.
No, that's just it. Like, yeah, and that's just it. Like, I think they could definitely slide down the board a little bit and still take, Kinlaw, or maybe if Brown's there, or Kuda. Like, I think they have a few options available to them that the Browns would not be taking at 10. So if they could pick up a 3rd round pick in the process.
And not to mention, too, Jacksonville does have 2 first-rounders, so I'm sure they could sacrifice one.
Yeah, I don't think the Jets. I don't think they'd have to sacrifice their first round. I think they would just be sliding back 2 picks. So I think the Jets and Jaguars make a lot of sense as trade partners. If they still want a linebacker, I'd be all about throwing Avery Williamson in there to help get that deal done, because if you can jump the Browns and get your left tackle of the future, absolutely worth your first round pick and your whatever 3rd round pick you decide to give up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was about to say Avery Williamson is probably the only option. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind sending him to Carolina either, because they're in need of a middle linebacker.
Oh, I know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Bobby Woodruff, thank you for the $2 donation. Jets Talk, you have a great show. Bobby Woodruff, you have a great comment. Thank you so much. That means a whole lot. DJ Sin, thank you again for another $1.99 donation. He says 11th, 3rd, and a 6th might do it. I agree. Honestly, I think a 3rd rounder might get it done, because I think they're going to be able to pick the same player they would have taken at 9 at 11. So if I could give up, say, the 3rd, like a 3rd round pick, our 1st round pick, to move up 2 slots to get our left tackle of the future, I'm going to do it 100 times out of 100, and that would be the smart move, I think. You don't wait at 11 to see if your guy's going to be there. If there's someone you really like. If you kind of are meh on it, then maybe you sit tight. But I think moving up would be something I'd be all on board for. Phone lines are open, guys. If you get the voicemail, just hang up and try again. Getting a lot of phone calls, so I may not be able to get to all your calls, but I'm going to try to blitz through them as fast as I can.
Call from
Guillermo.
What's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Yo, what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Not too bad. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. This is a tough. Like I was talking about in the chat, man. This is a tough
this is probably going to be the best and worst draft just because there's so many things that can go right and go wrong. But I'm of the thought that we go left tackle first round.
Yeah, I think that's probably the smarter move.
It has to be. I think there's a lot of talent that's in the second round, wide receiver wise. But when I look at the second round in terms of offensive tackles, unless like an Isaiah Wilson is there, I'm not really impressed by Cleveland. I don't want Austin Jackson whatsoever. I think he could be a bust. I think he could be really bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him to be my day one starter. Like, developmental-wise, anything after the first round, I would want to bring in a Jason Peters or a Trent Williams or someone like that. That would be a little more concrete than Jackson or maybe some of these other players.
The only thing I'm scared about the Jason Peters because I don't want the Jets. I don't want it to where they think they may have something with Peters, but they probably have a handshake deal behind the scenes after the draft. And then something happens. You're out of here! We had him in with Jack Conklin. And for some reason, we didn't anymore. And then Cleveland came in and got him. You know what I mean? So I just don't want us to get, a beast wide receiver in the first round, but in the second round or in the other rounds, we underdraft a tackle just because of what's available. So I'd rather go. I mean, it's not sexy, and of course, this has to be the year where you have, 3 disgusting wide receivers probably going to go in the top 20. And then, of course, we miss out on them. But I'd rather just take the left tackle. I'd take a Thomas. I think people have been talking him down purposely because I actually think teams want him. Because when you look at him, he's probably, I hate saying this, but you call him the safest pick.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of technicals, I mean, the only glaring thing that people could talk about is that they nitpick and say that his lower body or his lower half is not strong or like it doesn't have the function, which I think is BS.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching videos from like Brett Coleman where he was breaking down like.
I love Brett Coleman. I watched the video earlier today. Before I made my video.
I watch him all the time. I watched the Sam Darnold one where he was breaking against the zero blitz. Yeah, Sam Darnold and
Mahomes.
What's his kid? The one from Mahomes.
Yeah.
Video game. But he does a great job. Shout out to him. But I'm just scared that I don't know. Let's just go left tackle. I think in the second round, who would you want? Because I actually think Laviska Shenault, who no one's talking about. I know he had the toe injury. But he was high on some draft boards way, early this year or whatever. He could go second round. You got Brandon Ayuk, who I like a lot. Guys with deep brow can play on special teams a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you shadow Perryman, I guess, but you have him there in the second round as well. And
are you talking Pittman? I think Pittman. Perriman's the guy we just got.
No. I was saying that Ayuk kind of.
Oh, kind of. I see. Similar to Perriman. I see what you're saying.
Pittman, I like Pittman, but if you go in the third, man, if you get a wide receiver in the third, I'd rather go Chase Claypool. As crazy as it sounds, man.
I like him.
He's a demon in the intermediate red zone, man. Like he's really good. Don't get me wrong, Pittman. I think he's gonna be solid.
Yeah.
Pittman's one of those guys that and look, I like Darnold a lot, but I think that Pittman will be the type of guy that if he played with like a really good quarterback, if he played with a Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Where he's one of these top line quarterbacks who give you gaudy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if he was the number one option on the Jets, so say there's a running wide receiver, you go Pittman second round, and then he's like our only top wide receiver. So you have him, you have why do I always forget this dude's name? The guy who plays slot fest. Yeah.
Crowder.
Crowder. I was thinking Clowney. I'm like,
nah, it's all right. It's a C. It's sort of. I think there's a W in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's some Chow or Crow, whatever. And I just don't want him as our number one receiver. Now, if you have an attack where, look, you're going to have Herndon back. You're going to have him playing an intermediate deep or, around that soft intermediate area. You're going to have a Crowder working for the slot. I would love to get a guy like Brandon Ayuk and then maybe double down with Chase Claypool.
Yeah, I very much want to double down. I think if you could go left tackle at 11 and then you take the receiver at 48 that you like, whether that be Jefferson or Mims or Laviska Shenault, he's really good. He's fast and he hits you like a running back. He's going to be really good. Yeah. Third round, if I have to take a receiver in the second round, I'd like to take another receiver with our first third round pick. I wouldn't want to let it fall too far down. I'd want to try and get two bigger offense or bigger wide receivers. So Claypool is someone I would take Claypool in the second, honestly, if things start falling the wrong way, because you could wind up seeing 7 receivers go before the Jets pick at 48. Because when you look at 48, it's number 16 in the second round. So we're sitting right in the middle of the second round. It's not like we're picking at the top end of the second round. Man, it'll be interesting. I like the second round wide receivers a lot. If the Jets can get the tackle of the future there in the first round, then I think you can kind of open the floodgates on offensive weapons outside of round 1.
I do have another question though, and like no one really talks about this. Actually,
Sure.
you have a little bit, but who would you want in regards to like edge? Because I know there's Greener, how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But no one's talking about the kid Darrell Taylor from Tennessee. How do you like him?
So I'll be honest, I've done most of my research on offensive linemen and wide receivers because that's what I want our top 2 picks to be. I do like Aquara. I don't remember the school offhand that he's from. I really like him. I had him in my mock draft probably back in November. And he's someone I'd like to target at some point. I don't know if he'd be like second round or third round, but he's someone I would definitely look into getting. Edge rush is the one position on the defensive side that I'd like us to address at some point.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you so much, dude. You have been ejected from the cockpit. Good questions all the way around. Guys, head down to the link in the description down below to the Jets Discord. There's a poll question down there. If you head to the poll question of the day, there is a question there. In 2001, Jets linebacker delivered a blow to Drew Bledsoe. Which Jets linebacker knocked out Bledsoe to make the way for Tom Brady? Answer that and get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the Jets Talk store. What's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's happening, bro? Hey, man, I got a whole bunch of shit to talk about, though.
All right, what's on your mind?
Man, you not taking Jones at 11?
What was that?
You not taking Josh Jones at 11, bro?
No, I don't think so. I like Josh Jones, and if Douglas makes that pick, I'm going to trust Joe Douglas because I do trust his scouting on offensive linemen.
Exactly.
But I don't particularly want him based on everything I've seen. If we trade down a little bit, like to 15, 16, and we pick up a second-round pick, then I would definitely take Jones and then build a little bit more.
Who you think trading back with San Francisco would be smart?
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't want to trade down because I want an excuse to take CeeDee Lamb, and if you trade down, CeeDee Lamb's not going to be there, and that's kind of I love CeeDee Lamb, but you got to take the tackle. The tackle's got to be the first priority here. So if I'm looking to trade down, I would like to go if we could fall back to 12, 13, 14. And then I'd say 15 is probably the last one I'd want to do because I worry that the Buccaneers at 16 could be taking a tackle.
Yeah, they're definitely going to tackle.
So then you might wind up, if you fall behind them, maybe Josh Jones is still there and the fourth tackle that was on the board at 11 is, still there too. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I would trade back because the Jets need more picks, but it depends who's on the board.
I don't know, man, because Sam... I believe in Sam, bro, but Sam really hasn't shown me anything yet, man. And it's like, pairing him up with CD would be fire, but it's like you really got to address that tackle spot like ASAP. Like you can't sit on that,
So my thinking is if the player that Douglas wants is not there at 11, like left tackle wise, I would go with Jason Peters or Trent Williams or Kelvin Beachum for a year. Bring in a second round developmental left tackle because they're probably not starting year one. And then you just have them compete, and then you take the receiver at 11.
You've been paying attention to Israel?
Ezra? I have. Cleveland? Yeah. I do like him. I had him. So I look at number 28 where the Ravens are picking at the back end of the first round as a spot where the Jets could potentially look to move up. And I don't know what you...
I'm comfortable with trading up though, bro, because it's like we got so many holes to fill. Like
we got a lot of holes, but look, hey, Baltimore needs offensive line or it needs linebackers. So if you could go in there and say, hey, Baltimore, we'll give you number 48, we'll give you one of our third-round picks, and we'll give you Avery Williamson, and that gets you back into the first round to get a 5-year contract on an offensive tackle or a wide receiver, I would definitely do that because I think the 5-year contract is really valuable in the NFL.
Bro, own those. Avery don't got pulled like that.
I love Avery. No, he doesn't. But that's just, I think the third round pick, if you look at the trade compensation chart, if that's actually accurate, a third round pick should be enough to get that done. Avery's more of a throw in because we were going to cut him anyway. And if the Ravens got him for a $6 million contract, that's actually not too bad. That's pretty good in terms of value for Avery Williamson. I really like Williamson. If he could stay on the Jets and play linebacker next to Mosley, I'd be all for it. I think he's really good, and it's a shame we didn't get to see him this past year. I just think it's going to be too much money to pay him.
Right. I mean, and another thing I was about to say, I feel like edge, it's a need, but like I feel like we should keep it on the back end, because I feel like Greg Williams is one of the more smarter defensive coordinators. Like, he could figure out how to get pressure on the quarterback without like a perennial edge player. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be nice to have like depth there, like body. But I feel like we should definitely focus more on the skill positions like wide receiver, cornerback, like left tackle for sure in the first 3 rounds. Like, we got to get a corner in at 3. We can't sit there with Pierre. Pierre's a dog. Don't get me wrong, but we can't just sit there with just Pierre and Bless. Like,
I agree. I don't trust Bless to stay healthy. I do think he could be a number 1 or number 2 corner in this league when he is healthy, and I think Pierre is sort of the same way. I'd rather have a bunch of number 2 corners if I could. I don't want to touch corner until maybe the 3rd round. But even then, I like edge rusher. I think edge rusher and corner are going to be the 2 big positions that the Jets look at in the 2021 draft. Or at least that's my hope. If you get the left tackle, you get the wide receiver, and then you try to get some guys that might pan out and hit in the 3rd and 4th round. Like, I'd be cool double dipping at corner in the later rounds just to add some bodies there. Edge rusher, I think, is the more important of the 2, just because I think getting after the quarterback might be a little bit more pressing.
Right. Hey, man, let me get out of here, man. I just want to let you know I will be in tune for draft night for sure. We got to turn up.
I love it. I want to see everyone turn out for the Jets draft party in here. That would be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate your time, as always. I saw a super chat in there. Where was it? Lewis, thank you so much for the $1.99 donation. Robbie Anderson on the line. If that was Robbie Anderson, that would be really cool. But I don't believe that was Robbie Anderson. Yeah. Next caller.
Call from
Vinny,
what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Another day, another dollar. What's on your mind?
Well, besides muscle spasms that I'm having, football.
I can't wait for the NFL draft, and I'm just like slightly bummed that after the draft there's not going to be like anything to really talk about for a little while. I'm still going to be continuing to do this stream and probably the Talking Jets stream, but we might knock it back to like an hour instead of 2 hours, but we'll see.
Yeah, whatever.
What's on your mind?
Well, I'm looking at the draft. It's closing. And also, by the way, did you see the Jets draft cap?
The Jets draft what? Oh, cap?
Cap.
I did. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's the perfect match for the stealth black jerseys.
Oh, it really is. I think it looks amazing. I would definitely buy one if I could get it before the draft.
I've been looking for one to go with my my stealth black Herndon jersey.
Perfect. I can't wait to get Herndon back. He's someone that I was really excited about last year, and to not have him was sort of frustrating.
But yeah, I've been hearing about tackle, wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, as much as a wide receiver would be nice, we got to make smart moves, not sexy.
Yeah, no, I think that smart wins, and I saw a stat, and I don't know if I took a screenshot of it. Let me see if I could find it real quick. There was a tweet from, I believe it was, I don't know if it was Schefter, but it was saying something about first-round wide receivers, how many of them have won a Super Bowl with the team that drafts them, and it's only like Demaryius Thomas. There's like no one on that list for the last like 15 or 20 years. It's incredible. But when you look at left tackles, there's way more. It's like, I want to say 5 or 6 left tackles that have been drafted and stayed on their team and won a Super Bowl with them. So if you're looking for the potential to really win a Super Bowl, which should be the end goal, left tackle should probably be the selection, and then you take the second-round wide receiver.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you see that they've finalized the plans for the off-season?
I saw the virtual draft that they're going to do, and Goodell's going to be in his basement, I guess, accepting
that's not it. They're also doing virtual off-season, so everything that's it'll be all done like from like this video conference. So like classrooms, the exercise routines. I guess the teams will ship equipment to their prospects.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
And the thing is, the facilities won't reopen until all states are clear.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm concerned that it's going to be that we might have to delay or cancel the football season, and the issue with that isn't so much that I don't believe people are going to be going back to work. Like, I'm sure I'll be back to work, and a lot of other people will be back to work well before the football season. But I don't know if we're going to be able to have large gatherings. That's the big issue. I don't know if we'll have the large gatherings that are, needed to have 70 or 80 guys on a football field, competing against each other. Like, I don't know if they're going to be allowed to do that yet.
Well, I was looking at it, and I was reading the reports. Like, May is when things should start slowly returning to normal.
Yeah, that's the hope. As long as everything sort of plateaus, that would be, hopefully when things start rolling again.
Yeah, no, but about the receivers, I'm not really sure. I haven't watched enough tape to really get my opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been so.
Did you watch my offensive lineman video that I just put out?
I was gonna watch that, but I was actually, while that was premiering, I was eating dinner.
Oh, that's all right. So basically, my rough roundabout rankings was Wills, Wirfs, Becton, Thomas, Jones would be my top 5. And if Andrew Thomas is there at 11, I would definitely take Andrew Thomas.
Well, yeah, because he's the only one that's an actual left tackle.
Well, Becton's a left tackle, and Wills has played the blind side for Tua, which could because he's a left-handed quarterback. So there's sort of, I don't know.
But I mean, he's one of 2 that's has actual experience in that position.
Correct, yeah. But actually, Becton has only played left tackle full-time for 1 year. I didn't know that until I was doing my research on him. He flipped back and forth between left and right tackle prior to that.
Yeah, I like Thomas. It's kind of strange to see how he, during the season he's projected to be the top tackle, and just everything like that falls down. Could be a blessing in disguise.
Oh yeah, could be. Thank you so much, Vinny, for calling in. You have been ejected from the cockpit. Guys, down in the description below, there's a link to the Jets Discord. Answer the question of the day. Which linebacker knocked out Drew Bledsoe to lead the way for Tom Brady? That's in the poll section of the Jets Discord from the link down below. So make sure you head over to that.
Call from
Eli.
Eli, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, thank you. I wanted to ask you if you still have hope in Darnold.
Oh, absolutely I have hope in Darnold. Darnold is 6 months younger than Joe Burrow and has 2 years of NFL starting experience, one of which he had mono. So, right off the bat, if you've ever had mono, it knocks you out for months. I do not care if Sam Darnold is an all-pro athlete and he recovered after missing 3 games or 4 weeks or whatever. I think Sam Darnold, without the mono, with a healthy roster. Last year we had $80 or $90 million of money worth of salary sitting on the IR. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of issues. I don't think there was Gase's play calling didn't help, and I think there's the issue with I don't know. There's plausible deniability there, and I'm willing to roll the dice, load the offense as much as possible with a left tackle, 2 wide receivers, really stack this offense up, and see what Sam can do year 3 with no Brady in the division. Right now, I think that Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the AFC East, and I don't have too much of a leg to stand on because Josh Allen has led his team to the playoffs, so whatever. But I do think Sam is the best passer of the ball in the AFC East right now, and I think the Jets would be silly to give up on him. And even if you are on the side of wanting to give up on Sam, you should want to put 110% of our resources into helping Sam, because if you build the offensive line, you build the receivers, and Sam is not the guy, then at least you have all of that in place for the next guy in 2 years, 3 years, whatever that time frame is.
I don't want to give up on him yet. I think we should give him this year, and if he proves him to be a good quarterback, then we keep him and we see how it goes. But if he looks again like a crappy statistical year, then I think we might have to get rid of him and try to look to the draft. Because if he has 3 bad statistical seasons, what does that say? I hope that he can grow this year, but giving him linemen and wide receivers. But the problem is Gase. I don't know what we can do. And the 7th playoff seed, but Gase, he's just going to ruin everything.
So, in your opinion, you would rather move on from Darnold than move on from Gase? I'd rather keep Darnold for year 4 and get rid of Gase than move on from Darnold. I fully believe that Sam Darnold is the truth. I think he's going to own all our records by the time it's all said and done. At least in like a single season type record situation. Like I think he's going to break Namath's passing record. I think he's going to break Fitzpatrick's touchdown record. I really do. And I think last year was the worst combination of things that could have potentially happened. This year, I would be very surprised to not see Sam take a pretty sizable leap forward.
I think Gase is the biggest problem on our team. I think he needs to go. We cannot win until Gase is fired. I think I wanted Greg Williams to be our head coach. I like Greg Williams so much. I wish he was our coach.
I like Greg Williams a lot. The issue with Greg Williams, I think right now, and he was the interim head coach for the Browns just because I think because they had to fire Hugh Jackson. I like Greg Williams. I don't know if he'll ever get the chance to be a head coach because of the whole Bounty Gate thing as like a full-time starter. Interim head coach, like if we fire Gase mid-season, which I don't believe is going to happen, then he could be the interim head coach. The issue with Greg Williams is he rubs people the wrong way. So you're really like I think he's probably only going to be here maybe 2 more seasons. I hope I'm wrong on that, but I think he's probably going to rub enough people the wrong way where he eventually moves on to another team or something else. But I agree. I like Greg Williams. He's the only person on this Jets team that I have 110% confidence in whatever decision they make. Like I have blind trust in Joe Douglas right now, but I have full trust in Greg Williams.
Yeah, because like when you look at the Browns, they weren't that good when Hugh Jackson was. Then they just were amazing. Well, they weren't amazing, but they improved a lot with Greg Williams. And when you look at our defense last year, we have a bunch of no names besides like Adam, besides our like safety position and like the interior D line. Our defense does not have that many players with Mosley out an injury and Williamson out an injury, and he made it like what was it, a top 7 defense or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say we were number 8 or 9. We were definitely a top 10 defense, and we were missing Mosley. You're missing
Williamson and Mosley's like $17 million on the contract.
Yeah, that's insane. We drastically overpaid for Mosley, and I like Mosley. We saw an amazing 3 quarters of play out of him before he got knocked out, but it's a lot of money to pay a linebacker, and I want to see that money get put to good use next year with him on the field.
It was like $6 million a quarter.
Oh yeah, it's something ridiculous. It was. Yeah. I think he played a total of like 6 or 7 quarters.
Yeah, I know. Even if he played the entire season, I think $17 million is extremely high for a linebacker.
I completely agree. Thank you so much for your call. And even though I completely disagree with your take on Sam Darnold, I appreciate the call and airing your opinion here. That's just it. See, I don't care what your opinion is. I want to talk about it, and I'm cool with arguing about it. I almost got a little heated in that discussion just now. All right, guys, head over to the Jets Discord. Link is in the description down below. Head to the poll section and answer the poll question of the day. Which linebacker knocked out Tom Brady in 2000, or knocked out Drew Bledsoe in 2001 to lead the way for Tom Brady? Alex, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's up, Ryan? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. What's on your mind?
So I just had some ideas or thoughts about the draft, right? So if one of the top 4 tackles, I didn't get a chance to watch your last video. You were saying the top 5 are all good. That the 5th one would be worth it at 11.
I do not think that. I think the top 4 are worth it at 11. The 5th one, I would say I would only take if I traded down. And for just so you know my rankings off the top, it's Wills, Wirfs, Becton, Thomas, and then Jones. So I think Wills is a lock as the first guy. I think Thomas, Wirfs, and Becton are probably jumbled up somewhere in the next 3. I think Wirfs might be the least likely of those to wind up with the Jets, as far as like who we might like.
Isn't Jones the 5th ranked guy like a bit of a head case? I heard he's got like an attitude problem.
Oh, maybe. That I'm not sure of. I'd have to dig a little bit deeper in that. I haven't seen it. Everything I've seen as far as his projected mock is like basically anything above the 20th pick. Like I think he might go to 16 with Tampa Bay, and I could see him going there. He's played really well in a conference that's not great. With Houston, I think he gave up 18 pressures on like 1,200 pass rushing snaps.
Tackle. Yeah, that's the guy who's the head case. The second George, the other Georgia tackle.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
My whole plan would just be to, like, if the top 4 tackles aren't there, you trade back, and by some miracle, maybe you can pick up Justin Jefferson. It feels like Justin Jefferson is flying under the radar somehow. His stats were significantly better than Judy's this year.
Yep.
His yards per catch were a little lower, but he overall was like super productive, and he's getting labeled as a possession receiver, even though he runs a 4.4, and it was just his production was outrageous. 1,500 yards, it was crazy.
Dude, I would say CeeDee Lamb is my number one receiver, hands down. My number two receiver is Justin Jefferson, for sure. I have nothing wrong with Judy and Ruggs. My one knock with them is that you have Judy, Ruggs, and I'm losing the name of the other player, but you got 3 first-round pick wide receivers on Alabama. Now, the guy opposite Jefferson is going to be a first-round pick next year, most likely. But I understand the argument. But when you look at Jefferson and you look at Judy during that LSU-Alabama game, it wasn't even a contest. I think Jefferson really outshone Judy in that game.
Oh, and I showed you that. I messaged you on Facebook showing you the video.
Yep.
And Edwards-Helaire. If you could somehow get him in like the third, or maybe pull off a second with a trade back, that would be insane. He is such a great compliment to Bell, and you need to have a backup like that. He would just be crazy talented and effective in this offense.
The Jets,
such insane vision and such great lateral movement. It's just crazy.
The Jets running back situation is going to be something really interesting to watch, because after the second round, I could see us taking a running back at any point, because Bell's not going to be on this team after next year. I think he's going to get cut because I love him. I love him, but his contract's so high. I think because Gase wasn't too thrilled with the price of him to begin with, I think we're eventually going to move on from him after this season, and I think we need to take, at the very least, a solid backup that could be a starter next year, because otherwise you're going to wind up having to take a running back possibly high next year, and I don't really want to do that.
Hilaire's going to be a monster in fantasy. I mean, he's just going to be crazy good, regardless of what team he goes to. There's some projections that he's going to go to the Rams, and he's just going to kill people in that offense. It's going to be crazy.
That's just it. There's a lot of good running backs in this draft. I like Swift from was he Georgia? Yeah, he's someone that I think could go at 32 to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are a real big landing spot for one of the top running backs in this draft, because outside of their defense, yeah, they should go defense, probably like an edge rusher or maybe a corner. I don't even know. I know their linebacking core and secondary, I think, needed a little bit of help.
Never have enough corners.
That's just it. And and it's a pass-happy league.
A tackle is going to slide, because this is all the shiny objects with the top flight wide receivers. Some people are going to start just getting too impulsive and probably reach. So I'm pretty sure a tackle falls. But if they don't fall, then people are really smart and you just trade back Jefferson, and then that would be so crazy. That would be so sick.
Yeah. Now, if we trade back, I think receiver is where I'd like to go, and then I would bring in Jason Peters or Trent Williams, who I don't really want Trent Williams, but Jason Peters, Kelvin Beachum, that's who I'd want to bring in if tackle's not the pick at 11.
Yeah, it would be more of a projection like you're thinking. Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Have a great night. Thanks for the time.
Awesome. You too, dude. Thanks so much for calling in. Hope you are there for our live stream that we're going to do for the night of the draft.
Call from
John.
John, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
What up, man? Big fan all the way from Orange County. How are you doing?
Oh, nice. Which Orange County? Orange County, California, or Orange County, New York?
I didn't know there was a New York one. I'm from California.
Oh, there you go.
About 20 minutes away from where Sam Darnold really lives.
Awesome. Are you a big Sam Darnold fan then?
I trust him.
Okay.
Actually, my question is about him.
Okay.
Let's say this draft goes how we want it to.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andrew Thomas is the best one. He was always the top 10 pick until the season ended, and then they're putting everyone else ahead of him, and I don't know. I think Thomas is the ideal one for us.
Yep.
So I say we get him, and then around 48, I think we're going to get KJ Hamler or Laviska Shenault. I'm not saying his name, but
yeah,
I see him being our gadget guy. And third round, we go maybe interior lineman with B-Dash and our corner or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so let's say our schedule is pretty tough, and if it doesn't go the way we want it and we stay healthy, do you think it's time to look away from Sam, or
no?
Still give him another year?
I would give him another year. I think you let him play at least his first 4 years. I'm probably going to give him his fifth year too. At the very least, what I think we need to do is surround him with as much talent as possible. Even if you don't buy into Sam, just push all your chips into the table on Sam, and then in the event you want to move on from him in a year or two, then you have the infrastructure to support a new rookie quarterback, and then you can roll the dice and give all your draft assets up to go up and get the quarterback you want. That's sort of where I'm looking at with Sam. I believe in him. I think Sam is the guy of the future. I think he is our franchise quarterback.
Yeah, man, he seems like he's legit. I've actually met his grandpa. He's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, what's his nickname? Or it's like it's something Dick. it's
my brother. He teaches at my brother's school, and they call him like uncle or grandpa, like Darnold or something like that.
Hold on. Oh, his name. I got it. His name is Dick Hammer. It's like the most amazing name for a guy. Oh God.
But yeah, I hope this year something goes well, and if not, I hope Gates is out the door and we bring in the offensive coordinator from the Chiefs. He seems legit as hell.
I like Bieniemy. My issue with Bieniemy is that he has been a pretty attractive candidate for a head coaching job the last 2 off seasons, and he hasn't gotten the nod. And I don't know if teams believe it's him or Andy Reid running that offense. Because if they think it's Andy Reid, I could see Bieniemy not panning out quite so good. But the whole coaching tree from Andy Reid has been phenomenal. So I would roll the dice on him. I think if Gase does not perform well this year, I'm 100% fine with moving on from him. I think you saw enough from him from Miami and from last year where if you get another problem year next year, then I think you just have to pull the plug on it and figure it out.
Yeah,
let Joe Douglas pick his head coach.
I think the players already are starting to give up on him. I don't think Jamal likes him. I think they love Greg Williams. I hope he stays around for a long time.
Yeah.
But like you said, people start butting heads with him because he's a pretty arrogant or hard-headed man. But
yeah.
I hope he stays around. I hope we get the offensive coordinator, and I hope Jamal Adams stays.
Yeah, look, I want Jamal to stay. I want him to accept the offer the Jets are going to give him. They're going to make him the highest paid safety in the league, and it'll be, $16 million a year. I'd be okay with going up to $17 million a year, and that's like a lot because right now his play doesn't suggest he should be worth that much. Like, we've seen the sacks, which is great, but once the Jets get an edge rusher or anyone that's sort of comparable at edge rusher, like if you can get 6 sacks from your edge rusher, then you can free up Jamal to do other things, and then maybe he's more worthy of it.
Like if we get an Aquara or a Grenard or a Uche, I think we could get those 6-7 sacks.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like I want to hold on to Jamal. I think he's important to this franchise. My issue is I think he's going to try and get top defender money, not top safety money, and he's going to want like $20 million, and he's going to force the Jets to trade him. But he won't say it. That's the irritating thing.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. And then lastly, do you think we should go after someone like Tyler Biadasz or Cesar Ruiz in the 2nd or 3rd round if they're still around? Because I know the guys we got interior are decent, but Alex Lewis wasn't that great last year. Connor McGovern had 1 decent year so far, and I forgot the last guy's name is
Van Roten.
He's all right, but like they're not real like lockdown starters. Do you think we should go after someone else?
Yes, I would take someone in the 3rd round. If Biadasz or Ruiz are there, which I don't think they will be, I would definitely take them because I think at worst they could play guard. At best they play center to replace McGovern, and McGovern slides over. We'll see what happens with that. But thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the cockpit. And I hope you tune in to our live stream for the Jets draft party. We're going to have our own group gathering here. We're going to have me, Gangrene David, Matt O'Leary, and Green Bean talking Jets. Again, call in for Jets Central. I don't know if he's going to join us or not, but offers on the table. Joe, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit. I just want to get to one thing real quick. You just got scored on. Thank you for the $1.99 donation. Why do you think Thomas is slipping? He's my number 1 left tackle. The reason why I think he's slipping, and I'm not too sure, like I have issues with it too. Like, I think Thomas should be the number 1 left tackle, but I think it's the measurables from like Becton and Wirfs that are helping that. I think Wills is probably the best tackle. Like, I think Wills is left tackle number 1 or right tackle number 1, and then I would put Thomas at number 2. But I think the reason he's sliding down is because of the metrics and everything, and maybe there's not quite the upside. Like, I think Thomas could be the safest outside of Wills of the tackle positions, and then you sort of go from there. But thank you for the donation and thank you for the question. Sorry about that. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, enjoying my quarantine time as best I can.
Anyway, I just want to ask you something about Quinnen Williams.
Yep.
What do you think the future is for him? Do you think he's just immature and just needs to grow up and build a little more strength to his repertoire?
I do. I think he's a little immature. I think we saw that with the gun through LaGuardia. I think that's probably something you want to address and nip in the butt. But you look at Greg Williams. He helped train Aaron Donald, who Quinnen Williams was very closely compared to coming out of college. So if Greg Williams can turn Quinnen Williams into the next Aaron Donald, you got to roll the dice on it. I also have a tweet here that I saw the other day. So in 13 games, Quinnen Williams had 28 tackles and 2.5 sacks. Other premier interior defensive linemen, Chris Jones in his first 16 games had 28 tackles, so the same as Quinnen Williams, and had 2 sacks, so less sacks than Quinnen. Geno Atkins in his first 16 games had 16 tackles, so less tackles, and 3 sacks, so half a sack more. And then Gerald McCoy in his first 13 games had 28 tackles, so the same as Quinnen Williams, and a half sack more with 3 sacks total. So I think there is still plenty of time for Quinnen Williams to be an elite interior pass rusher with this team and in this league. I just hope they believe in it. I hope that's kind of what it is. I hope he was a Greg Williams pick. I hope he wasn't like a McCagnon pick, if that makes sense.
I agree with you because, during the combine, they were comparing him somewhat to Aaron Donald. I don't think he'll ever have that high of a ceiling.
Yeah, Donald's a special player. If you get half of what Donald is, if you can get 10 sacks a year from Quinnen Williams, that's amazing.
Yeah, I agree because he runs about a 4.8 in the 40, and he's over 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's a heavy dude.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you is I think I agree with you. I think Sam Darnold is the real deal. I mean, I looked at his family, the way he comes from a blue-collar background.
Yep.
And the way he loves football.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't see this kid regressing. I see this kid eventually progressing. Like you said, he had mono last year, so that didn't help. And, again, he was only 2 years in the league. And he was his second coach, 2 different offensive coordinators. So I think it wasn't easy for him. But I think this year, I think he's going to make the turn. He's going to prove a lot of doubters wrong.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think last year for me was so hard to accurately grade anything on this team, let alone Sam Darnold. I don't really trust what I saw from Adam Gase from a play calling perspective. It seemed to me like he was spiteful with Bell and didn't want to give him the reps or the style of plays that he should be in because he didn't want to have him there originally. I had my issues with Gase, but I think because of the injuries with Sam Darnold getting mono and all these things, I think you have to at least give him one more year if you want to try and attract a better head coach after him. You can't cut a guy after 1 year with what went on last year. And with Sam, I made a video at the end of the year just to see, hey, did Sam's stats improve from year 1 to year 2? And even though it looked terrible last year from an offensive perspective, we actually had better stats out of Sam. So I think with Sam, without mono, a full year under his belt in this offense with a better offensive line, with better wide receiving options, I don't see how the Jets offense can get worse than whatever 31st it was ranked. If we can get the 15th ranked offense, I'm okay with that. I could totally be cool with the 15th ranked offense if we have the 15th ranked defense, and then I think you have a solid team. I really think Sam's going to break out of his shell this year, and he's going to be looked at as one of the better young quarterbacks in this league.
One thing I got to say, one last thing with the draft. Sure. I agree. I think they're going to go tackle. I think that's what's needed because, again, you don't got much beyond those top 4 guys in the first round into the second round. But I think you're right on something with CeeDee Lamb. I think he has the biggest upside of all the receivers. But I think you got to go with the sure bet man, Jerry Jeudy. He does remind me of Antonio Brown with his routes.
Yeah.
I mean, again, CeeDee Lamb has a bigger upside. I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But I think Jerry Judy's a sure thing, man.
Yeah, I'm not upset if the Jets go Jeudy, Lamb, or Ruggs at 11. I'm cool with any one of those players. I think they all bring amazing things to the offense. I think Jerry Jeudy compares very similarly, not just to Antonio Brown, but also kind of to Amari Cooper. And I would be happy if you get any one of those receivers. I love CeeDee Lamb. I really do. One last thing. Are you going to be tuning into the Jets live stream on here Thursday night? Awesome. Good stuff,
right,
brother.
You have a good night.
You as well. Take it easy. Stay safe. There we go. Guys, if you don't know, we are doing a live call-in show for the night of the draft. Since there's no Jets draft party this year, we're going to have our own Jets draft party right here on Jets Talk 24/7. So make sure you hit subscribe and hit the link to go find that live stream.
Bernard from North Carolina.
Bernard, brother, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit. Before I get to your question, I just want to rattle off the poll question of the day real quick. If you guys have not, in the link down below in the description, there's a link to the Jets Discord. Click on that, head to the poll section of the Discord, and there's a question of the day: which linebacker knocked out Drew Bledsoe to make the way for Tom Brady back in 2001? Answer that right. I'm going to raffle off a shirt, hat, or mug at the end of the live stream, and you can get yourself entered to win if you get that question right. Sorry about that, Bernard. What's up, brother? What's on your mind?
All right. I want to talk draft and who the Jets going to pick.
Sure.
And how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm hanging in there. We actually, you're gonna be the first of the Jets fans, or I guess the third, because I'm gonna say Becca and then my other buddy. No, but we just put down a deposit to get a new puppy, so we're gonna have a puppy coming in the next 6 weeks. So we'll have one more addition to the Jets Talk family over here in the Jersey side of things. But that's kind of how I'm doing. How's everything with you?
Oh, hanging in there, considering, because of coronavirus, the airport mostly at North Carolina's been shut down.
Yeah.
The flight tickets, preparing for the flight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of the few blessed ones. I'm the only one in there working. It's me and the supervisor and the crew lead.
Wow, that's lucky.
And that's it. Yeah, I am lucky. Very blessed.
What's on your mind as far as the draft goes?
I want to talk about who I like the Jets to take and who I think they're going to take.
Okay.
I would really like the Jets to take. I'm kind of conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jerry Jeudy is magnificent.
Yep.
To me, he's a young version of Amari Cooper, and I think he may be even quicker and more explosive,
mm-hmm.
and even harder to cover than I think Cooper is. Well, Cooper's a stud. He's a technician, and that's what I think Jerry Jeudy is. That's why I think if he was there, the Jets would take him. But I think, based on all the reports over the last 3 or 4 months, Amari Cooper, not Amari Cooper, but Andrew Thomas,
mm-hmm.
his stock has been falling, and I don't understand why.
Yeah,
if he's there at 11, we
mm-hmm.
should take him.
I agree. I think if he winds up falling to 11, I would say him, Becton, or Wills. Those are the 3 guys that I'm eyeing in the top of this draft. I don't really want Wirfs. He's a right tackle. He can project to a left tackle at the next level, but I think between Wills, Thomas, and Becton, those are the 3 guys that I'm really eyeing at left tackle. And in terms of wide receiver, I have to say CeeDee Lamb. What was that?
I want to go at you on Becton.
Sure.
Not to say I don't like Becton, but it seems like because he's a raw product, I don't think he's going to be ready to go and start at left tackle right away.
Well, I think that's going to be the issue.
Start at right tackle because right tackle you don't need the same kind of technical work you do at left.
Sure.
That's why the Jets took Brickashaw Ferguson back in 2006 because he, unlike Becton, where Becton
mm-hmm.
is freakishly strong and massive.
Mm-hmm.
Rick was smaller. I think at one time they said he got down to 280 pounds, which is unheard of. But he was undersized for a tackle. But he had the athleticism and he had the technique. He wasn't a raw product. He just needed to, add muscle and get stronger, which he did by the time Rex came along. He really blossomed. Yeah,
look, I think with Becton, he just has rare elite size and speed for someone who's 6'7", 370 pounds or whatever he is. Like that, he's a massive dude. So I agree. I think he is the biggest boom or bust prospect at left tackle for me. Like you could bottom out.
Tackle and match up on the Bosa's or real technicians. Someone who's really a master what they do.
Yeah.
Match them up too early.
Mm-hmm.
Might expose them.
Yeah, I think the Jets are probably going to look left tackle. If Becton's the pick, they'll start whoever they feel is the best left tackle at 11. But if you have to put Fant on the left side with a tight end helping him out, and then you have Becton on the right side, or whatever combination, whoever the top 5 offensive linemen are on this team come training camp, those are going to be the 5 that start. And it may be regardless of position. You may see a Doga slide into right guard, or McGovern slide over to a guard position because maybe they think Harrison's the best center. Like it's all sort of fluid right now. But I would say Becton would be, God, I don't know. I like Becton because of his size. But I think the safer pick
but I'll tell you this,
is Thomas.
If the tackles are gone, I don't think we should reach for a tackle. I like to see us going. If the tackles are gone, go and try to trade down. Second round is guard. They got some really good guards, and probably a wide receiver that's going to be there at 2, the second round pick.
Yeah, if we go tackle at 11, I have a hard time going guard in the second round. I really want receiver. I want receiver in the second round. If we pass on receiver in first round. I would try to take receiver.
Jump back in, I'd say late first round, and we can jump back in there and get Justin Jefferson. I'd be happy as hell.
Oh, yeah, I would be all on board with that.
A small package and try to jump back in. Where do you think we would jump back in the second round?
If we were to jump back into the second round, I'd say the Ravens is the pick I'm looking at, because you could give up your second, third, and maybe like Avery Williamson to get up to that pick. One last question. Oh, yeah, one last thing. Are you tuning into the Jets live stream here on the channel for the draft?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it, Bernard. That's it, brother. Stay safe. Thank you so much for calling in. I am your pilot tonight. D-Mac, I saw your comment in the chat. We're not naming the puppy Brady. That's not happening. I don't want to punt my puppy out the door.
Call from Detonator 10.
Detonator 10, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Yo, how's it doing?
Not too much. Hanging in there. What's on your mind, brother?
Not much. I'm eating Oreo ice cream right now. So, hey.
Oh, there you go. Oreo ice cream. I have some not cookie dough. I have cookies and cream ice cream in the fridge waiting, calling my name.
Ooh.
What are you thinking for the draft? What are you thinking, so far? What's on your mind?
All right. We're drafting 2. I want to say no.
So I was like, no, I will punch you.
No. So I actually did a little mock draft myself a little while back, but
sure. Did you join my mock draft contest, by the way? I did a first round mock draft contest.
I did.
Okay, cool, good stuff.
Yes.
Go on.
So I decided. I think I've always said this. I'm still sticking with it.
Mm-hmm.
If the top 4 tackles are all gone, you take a wide receiver. Right?
You have to. Now, who is your wide receiver? Because if all 4 tackles are gone, more than likely all 3 receivers are probably on the board at that point.
Well, there's going to be that 48%, Judy fans going to go after me. There's 48% CD fans going to go after me, and there's going to be that 2% Henry Ruggs fans like, woo. All right, so I think I'm more of a Judy guy personally.
Sure.
I like him a little bit better built a little bit from my perspective, but I can definitely see us taking CD Lamb without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think either one of those guys is going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. So with that, I think I'm going to go with Judy. Final answer. All right, cool. All right.
Look, if Judy's the pick, I don't have a problem with that. I think Sam sort of compares play style wise to like a Big Ben, and we've seen Antonio Brown be successful in that type of offense. So if Judy can adapt to the extending of plays that Sam can achieve through his pocket presence, then I think it's going to go a long way. If you go with Judy, Ruggs, or Lamb, I think you are not going to go wrong either way. They're all 3 of them are going to be phenomenal. I just like CeeDee Lamb the most because I think he had the least to work with on that offense, even though he had the quarterback that was, the Heisman potential at one point. I think Lamb is the real deal. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think we do in the second round then?
So I had us going. So here's what I actually did in the first round. I actually had us going tackle in the first round, right? So let's say we're going with tackle, not wide receiver, right?
Yep.
Let's say we get either Thomas or Becton or maybe even Wills or worse.
Sure.
So if that's the case, then I would go a wide receiver in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And if the wide receiver's not there, then maybe you go corner. I think there's a really good corner class this year coming up.
Yeah.
And I think that although I like Pierre Desir on one side, you have our nickel corner and Poole, we still need that other corner spot.
Yeah, I think corner's definitely in need. It's something I'd like to try and gamble maybe a lower pick on. Like, I'd be cool with rolling the dice on a 3rd round corner.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I actually took one in my draft thing. But,
is there a 2nd round wide receiver that you're kind of leaning towards, or a few guys that you'd like to see be there?
I do like Pittman.
Okay.
And I also like I can't think of his name at the moment, but he's a really nice wide receiver on the. Gosh dang it! Actually, let me see if I can pull it up real quick on my Discord. I put it.
Yeah, go. There's Chenault, there's Ayuk, there's Claypool.
Oh yeah, that's who it was. It was Chenault. I picked him up.
He's really good. I had him. I think I have him going in the 1st round in my mock. I actually just re-updated my mock draft, and it's actually different than the mock draft I posted on my YouTube channel. It's slightly adjusted. I didn't do any trades in this one, so I popped it into my mock draft contest. You can actually enter as many times as you want on the mock draft contest. It doesn't matter. So if you think you have another version of the draft you'd like to see, definitely throw it up there. I like Chenault. I like Jefferson. I like Claypool. Ayuk is probably someone that could fit our offense in terms of what Gase might be looking to do. Although I don't necessarily want him. I think he brings some value in the punt return game as well. Super fast, really quick receiver. Yeah. But I like you said, I like Chenault. I like the bigger bodied guys. Pittman's a bigger bodied guy. I think we have the speedster with Perriman on the one side. I think we have the slot guy in Crowder, and Herndon can work the middle of the field. I think you got to get the big body guy.
Yeah, as much as I love Enunwa, right? I'm not sure how much he'll be playing next season, if at all. And you're out of here! And I actually really like big body receivers. I mean, if you look at Brandon Marshall back in 2015, he was more of a bigger body guy, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you don't need a ton of speed. Like I mean, at one time, Marshall was really fast, but now you're talking, just a big-bodied guy. Their careers last forever. You look at AJ Green at this point. I don't know how fast he is at this point anymore, but because he's a massive body and he has a big catch radius, he's lasting a long time. Once you get those guys that are really fast, once they hit around 30, the speed starts to decline. One quick question: Are you going to tune in? Are you going to tune into the live stream that we're doing for Jets Night or Jets Draft Party?
Yes, sir.
You're damn right. I like it. Good stuff, brother. Thank you so much for calling in. I will catch you in the live stream. I see my name popping up in the chat. FM, we had a very interesting conversation. I disagree with your takes, but I appreciate the conversation at the very least. Alex Sneh, one of my favorite Giants fans, not named D-Mac. Thank you for tuning in, brother.
Mike, NY Sports MC.
Mike, what's up, brother? How you doing? I haven't had a chance to look at your mock draft yet. I've been meaning to do it. I've just been kind of busy trying to pump some content out. What's on your mind?
I already posted it a little bit before you started posting yours, so I figured you were probably still finishing up the edits on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I saw it premiering, and I was like, it's not. I can't. I don't have enough time to do that, and then try to set this up. So I'll check it out for sure. But what's on your mind?
So just a few things, obviously, with the draft. Actually, I was at your premiere for the tackles. I liked how you had them ranked at it a little bit differently, but
yeah, you have Thomas higher, right?
Thomas 1, yeah. I have Thomas 1. I'm a big believer, and he was up there the whole time during the games being played.
Yep.
I don't like when these guys start to really jump up when they're in shorts. So
yeah,
that kind of scares me a little bit.
That's kind of my thinking as well. I don't like the late risers too much. Like I had back in November, Andrew Thomas going to the Jets at number 3 or 4. So now to have him, I saw one mock that had him going like 28th or something like that. I think it was it Mel Kipe? Or no, it was Todd McShay's mock draft, I think, in one of them. I was like, what? Why do you have Thomas drop? There's no way he's going to drop that far. I think he just set that up so that way people get all fired up at him.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, those combine leapers, they're just, to me, it's just such a big bust potential. I mean, I get the flashbacks of, and I said it in the chat before, Vernon Golson and Stephen Hill.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't put that bad juju on me.
So, no, I think that, like I said, I'm a fan of Josh Jones, and actually, if you watch the draft, when you watch mine, you'll see. I really think that we should probably just trade back. I think Denver is a good spot for us to trade back with.
Yep.
As they're probably going to want to come up and select one of these wide receivers. It also is going to give us probably another third-round pick or so to really make us be able to maneuver around and go up and target some people maybe again in the second round. That's kind of like what I had in mind.
Yeah, I think I want us to, if we trade down and we accumulate some picks, I'd like us to move back up into the first round, I think, to try and get someone who might be falling. I don't want to necessarily sit there with 3 third-round picks. It is a deep draft, so I get it, but I think we need immediate impact starters at left tackle and wide receiver, and I don't know if you trade back if you're going to get that left tackle, and I don't know if you sit at 48 if you're going to necessarily get that like starting caliber wide receiver right off the bat. Green Bean, what's up, dude? I see you in the chat over there. Sorry.
The other thing I wanted to kind of talk about, too, is I don't think anybody's really been talking about it too much. Obviously, we all know everything going on with the coronavirus, but how much do you think that's going to impact these teams and the possibility of people falling with, just the complete difference in how this offseason has been going?
So that's the reason I changed my mock draft a little bit, and it's sort of the rumors that Tua may not. Like, it sounds like he's trying to push his own health more because teams may not believe in him, and teams are a little leery of that, or at least that's what I've heard. I still think he's going to be the second quarterback off the board. I still think Miami should trade up to 3 to get him, but I have him falling to the Dolphins at 5. But that's something that you could sort of see change a lot of what goes on, because if the Dolphins now don't trade up to number 3, now I see the Lions taking Isaiah Simmons at 3. The Giants, who I had taking Isaiah Simmons, are not going to take Okudah because they just paid Bradbury. So I think they wind up taking an offensive lineman. So that really screws the Jets big time, potentially, if that winds up happening. So it's going to be interesting to see with the way this offseason has gone. I think anyone with injury concerns, like a Laviska Shenault, who had got a little bit banged up, maybe he slips a little bit because teams can't give those medical evaluations like they could have normally given on a normal year.
Right, and I think that's going to be a tough thing for these GMs across the league, not even just Joe Douglas, is twofold. One, from your own perspective when you're building your board, especially like something like the wide receiver position where there's so many different people. Trying to fine-tune your list or split hairs between some of these players is going to be tough when you weren't able to bring them in, you weren't able to go see them at their pro days at their school. So I think that's going to be a little tougher, as well as just trying to be able to read some of these other teams. Obviously, you don't know, they didn't go to pro days, so you can't be like, oh, the Giants were over there, maybe they're targeting this guy or that guy, things like that. So I think those are 2 areas where it's going to be a very interesting draft this year.
I completely agree. The other area I think is going to be tough is going to be the trade department. Like, I think teams may not necessarily be as sold on certain players as they could have been because they haven't met with them. So are they going to offer up the trade compensation needed to get up into certain picks? Are they, if they're calling in their pick, does that somehow delay the amount of trade talks that could go on? I don't know. It's very interesting, and I'm curious to see how this draft goes. You're going to be tuning in for our live stream, right?
Yeah, I'll be popping in and out for sure.
I hope so. Even if you just have it on in the background while you watch it on ESPN, that would the viewer, the concurrent viewer would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before I jettison you? You got 20 seconds.
No, that's it, man. Keep up the great work.
Awesome. Good stuff, Mike. If you guys have not checked out NY Sports MC, check out his YouTube channel. He is a new Jets channel, and he puts out some pretty good content. So definitely go take a look at that.
Call from Chris from Florida.
Chris from Florida, what's up, dude? Before I get to you, I just want to rattle off one more quick thing. Guys, down in the description down below, there's a link to the Jets Discord. Click on that, head down to the poll section, answer the question of the day. Who was the Jets linebacker that knocked out Drew Bledsoe in 2001 to make the way for Tom Brady? If you get that question correct, you will get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug, or whatever from the Jets or Jets Talk store. So head over to that now. I'm going to answer that question right after this phone call. Chris from Florida, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. And to all of you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let's get this group going higher, and let's get our boy wearing that Jets cap on his wedding day.
I like it. Yeah, if you guys have not seen, if I get up to 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to say before May 29th, because that's when I'm supposed to get married. We actually are in the process of changing that, so it's not going to be this year, unfortunately. But the idea is if I get up to 10,000 subscribers by May 29th, then I get to wear the hat on my wedding night. So Becca's not thrilled with it, but if you guys want to get your friends to subscribe to the channel. I will provide video, or not video, I will provide picture proof of this happening, so you guys will get that.
Yeah, man. God, I'm so excited for this whole draft thing. I'm glad there's going to be something to watch. Man, I thank you so much. I'm always on the road, still doing this, driving through this unfortunate thing we're going through, but so much grateful for your content. I got something to watch while I'm out here. And
I'm glad.
I will be watching the live stream while because I'll be working during the time of the draft, so I'll be looking at y'all's live stream, hoping you guys give me good news about it all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're hoping to get Jet Central on here. I reached out to him. I don't know if he's seen the message that I sent him or not, but hopefully he comes on with us. We've been trying to link up with him for a while, but it's going to be fun.
All I know is from what he's informed his viewers is that he's moved recently, so maybe he's just stuff together. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be busy.
Yeah, but I know you guys are always there, and it's always something. At least there's something to watch once every day. Either you, Matt O'Leary, Gangrene David. I gotta subscribe to Jim to Green Bean. I have not yet, but I like
Jet Nation. Yeah, Green Bean's real good. He just put out his mock draft. He's actually in the chat under Jet Nation. If you want to follow his link to go subscribe, he's got a good channel.
I definitely will. Okay, so I honestly have got my prediction for this draft, and I have a huge feeling that most likely our top offensive linemen are going to be gone. So I'm going to go with that Joe Douglas is going to go ahead and get CeeDee Lamb on the first rounder, and I really think that in the second round we'll get an offensive tackle that we're going to train, and we will go ahead and probably re-sign Beachum. I think that I would rather the guy from the Eagles. I agree with you, but I think because we have a relationship already with Beachum, we're most likely going to get him at a lower cost.
Yeah, I think I would love to get Beachum or Peters in here on a cheaper deal if the tackle we want is not there at 11. And like you, I tend to agree that I don't think Joe Douglas likes all four of these tackles the way I think a lot of fans like all four. So if you take CeeDee Lamb, who I really want, at 11, now I still think tackle is number one. I'm going to keep repeating that tackle is the number one need. If you take CeeDee Lamb, I'm cool with taking a tackle in the second round. But honestly, you could convince me to go defense, like edge rusher or cornerback in the second round if we go receiver, if we're bringing back Kelvin Beachum or bringing in some type of competition at left tackle. But I do think we need to take a developmental left tackle at some point. And I actually had the stats, or not the stats, but the Eagles, the way their offensive line was built, yes, Lane Johnson was the 4th overall pick at one point. Yes, Andre Dillard last year was the late 20s in that pick. But if you look at the rest of their offensive line, Jason Peters was undrafted. Vaitai was a 5th-round pick. Brandon Brooks, 3rd-round pick. Jason Kelsey, 6th-round pick. I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Semalo or Semelo, 3rd-round pick. So it's not like there's many ways to skin a cat, and I don't think you necessarily need to take the tackle in the top 11 picks if Joe Douglas feels he can hit on players in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round.
You bring up the undrafted section, and I'm actually curious due to this little situation. We already know that we're doing the video for the regular draft. How are we going to handle the undrafted section of people coming out of college or who haven't been chosen for the draft? What do you think the NFL is going to do about that?
I missed the last little bit. Say that again. What do I think the Jets are going to do about the undrafted free agents?
The NFL, for all the teams, like undrafted players, and how they're going to evaluate them and such.
So how do I think they're going to evaluate free agents next year, or you're saying this year going into the season?
This year going into the season, because no undrafted like youngsters, like college players that weren't drafted. Generally after the draft, that's when players will start looking into them there.
Sure.
So they also have to go through their own combine as well?
They don't necessarily have to. They will do their own pro days just to show the metrics that they didn't get to show at the combine, because not everyone's invited to the combine. So, I mean, it really depends when this whole virus is over and when you can gather large groups of people again. Because I said this, we might be back to work in May, but that doesn't mean we're going to have large group gatherings of 50, 100, 200 type people when you have 100 people on an NFL roster. Now, maybe you split them up into separate days and you just have A team work one day, B team work the next day. But I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea how the NFL is going to operate this year if it's going to be a shortened season.
Yeah, all right. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. Much love. Keep safe and everyone. And don't forget, go Jets, baby!
Yeah, Chris from Florida. I love the enthusiasm every time you call. Grandpa Mark, I'm disappointed. I saw your name pop up, but I didn't get to you. All right, guys. So now I'm going to head over to the Jets Discord. I'm going to see how many people filled out that question of the day. If I could have you guys list 3 numbers, or 1 number each, under 10, and I will raffle off these, raffle this off, and we'll see who can get something here. We got a 9, a 2, and a 3. All right, so we're talking, what, 11, 13, 14, 15. No, wait, 11, 14. All right. We'll go top down on this one. Let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so the winner of the day, the question of the day was which linebacker knocked out Drew Bledsoe in 2001 during that game against the Patriots that led the way for Tom Brady. The answer was Mo Lewis, and our winner of the day is going to be Sinister Sins. Thank you so much for doing that. Hit me up on the Jets Discord. My username is blah, blah, blah. So hit me up over there. I'll get you set up to win a hat, shirt, mug, or something like that from the Jets Talk store. Guys, that's going to be it for me tonight. I'm going to be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, with Green Bean and O'Leary and Gangrene David. We're going to be talking all our Jet stuff. Make sure you go and I just posted it. It should be on my channel now. There's a link to our live stream for the draft night. So make sure you get all your friends, anyone who wants to tune in and just see a bunch of reactions on the Jets stuff, or if you just are quarantined and you want to hang out and talk Jets. We're going to be taking phone calls, answering questions all draft long. So make sure you tune into that. Guys, that's going to be it for me tonight. So I am out of here. I like it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. What do we got in here? What am I at as far as likes go? We're up to 102 likes. Try to get that up a little bit higher. If we can get up to 120 before I'm all done here, you guys would be fantastic. All right, guys. That's it for me. This is Jets Talk signing off. Jets.